Hi, my name is Whitney Schmidt, and this is my PortaPack presentation for Dr. Smith's class CED 722 at UNLV. So we're going to start first with why a PortaPack. What's the purpose of a PortaPack? And the purpose of a PortaPack is that many times therapists have to travel to different locations in order to meet the needs of their clients. And although the ideal situation would be for therapists to have the client meet them in their own room that's well equipped with toys and different tools for children to use during play therapy, we don't always get that ideal situation. So the PortaPack enables us to be able to travel and meet our clients wherever we need to. I chose to work with a picnic PortaPack, and the idea came to me. I was trying to think of a easy way to be able to clean up different messes that can be made with play therapy, and I thought of one of those plastic tablecloths. And all of a sudden, my mind started going, and I thought, how great and creative to have a picnic and be able to put all my tools inside the picnic basket as well as the tablecloth, which ensures we don't leave behind any messes. And so picnics tend to insinuate snacks. And snacks are great for children because a lot of times if a child comes to you and he or she has an empty stomach, they can be quite grouchy and they might not work to their full potential. So some ideas for snacks would be a Nutri-Grain bar or fruit snacks. You want to keep it light, healthy. You don't want a full course meal, but you also would want to check with parent or guardians to make sure that the child or client doesn't have any food allergies. Something to keep in mind before we get started is that children are so different. They come from different backgrounds, different religions, they're different ages, their abilities vary, and so you want to keep that in mind when you're putting your PortaPack together. You also want to keep in mind different races, ethnicities, and cultures. Another thing to keep in mind is that here you see one size PortaPack, but PortaPacks can vary in size. They can be as small as, a small backpack to picnic size to something larger. And usually, I would suggest picking your tools before you pick the size of the PortaPack you want to make sure that everything fits in that bag or picnic basket. You also want to keep in mind that none of your tools should be commercialized. You want to keep it kind of as plain and normal as possible to make sure that the children's imaginations can flourish. You also want to keep from using batteries, anything that makes noise on its own, so that way the children can use the tools and toys the way they would have them to be used. And you don't want to use anything super expensive. We learned from Dr. Dale Pearson that you don't want to use anything that you would be sad if it were to break or to be destroyed. We'll begin with the items I have in my PortaPack. Right here on top, I have a deluxe art set. And with the arts, inside it has paints, clay, crayons, pencils, all sorts of things in here to allow children to use their imagination and to express themselves without having to speak to the therapist directly. And you can learn a lot about a child through their artwork. The next item I have in my PortaPack would be a baby, a blanket, her puppy dog, some bottles. This is just one thing that allows children to express themselves in a way that they know to be nurturing. They're able to relax, they're able to play, and sometimes you'd be able to tell what type of childhood they've had, depending on how they treat their babies. Next, we have illness or disabilities. I have a doctor's kitten here, and Dr. Landreth said something to the effect of, real life experiences are what lead to the need for therapy. And a lot of times children have experienced some real life issues. And being able to play with toys such as this, or military type toys, allows their imaginations while playing with the toys, but also telling you a story about things that they've actually lived through. Construction. I have Legos here, but you could also use building blocks or different tools. And this keeps the child's hands busy. A lot of times children will play with things in order to keep eye contact on something else. They feel less threatened that way, and it allows for the conversation to be more fluid. Aggression is big in therapy. I have 3 boys, and they can be quite aggressive at times. And so I brought some boxing gloves just to allow the child to get out some aggression, pent-up frustration, but also it allows the child to learn about control and where to focus their anger or frustrations. On my PowerPoint, I put a target on there. A lot of times therapists might want to put a dart gun in their porta-pack, and I think it would be nice to direct that child's frustration or the dart gun at a specific target. And on the paper target, they could label it whatever they'd like, whatever their frustrations are. If their frustration is with school, they can label the target school, and they can punch it or shoot it with a dart gun. Sand tray is big. I learned while reading Landreth's book that sand and water are 2 of the biggest widely used items in play therapy. And not only does it keep the child's hand busy, as does the construction and building blocks, but if you were to put in different items for them to play with, the possibilities are endless. Children's imaginations will thrive, and you will learn so much about the child and the situations that they've been through. Fantasy. Here I just have a mask. A lot of times children want to mask their true feelings. Sometimes putting on sunglasses or hiding in a tent allows them to feel less threatened and not so vulnerable. Sometimes, as Dr. Pearson says, the child may tell the therapist to go sit in a tent or go to timeout. On my PowerPoint, I have a picture of jail, and I think for a lot of children, the jail itself is pertinent and can tell a story. Games are key to play therapy. Here I have a book, but inside it's full of different puzzles. You can use board games or card games or puzzles, and this just builds a really good rapport with your client. It enables trust. The child's able to get to know you, and they're able to ease into therapy. It's not just sit down, let's get to work. It kind of just eases them into the process and makes them feel more comfortable with you as the therapist. Next, I have books or journals. And right here I just have a journal. The books would be more centered like bibliotherapy, where it would talk about different issues that children are facing. And one of the great things about bibliotherapy is the fact that although a child's situation is personal to them, it also makes it universal. It allows the child to not feel as though they're alone in their situation and their circumstances. Journaling is a way that allows most older children, but also some younger children, to write down their feelings, their thoughts, their experiences, and use that as a type of therapy. And lastly, I have comfort. Here I have my son's monkey that he's outgrown. And this monkey has brought a lot of comfort to him, just as it will many other children in play therapy. A lot of times when children are discussing really deep issues, something very personal and important to them, they may want something to hold on to, just to touch or to hug or to cry with. And a lot of times it eases them into the therapeutic process. Under the topic comfort, I also put hand wipes on my PowerPoint and tissues. Tissues allows the child to cry and not feel as though you're unprepared for such instances. And then the wipes, a lot of children that I've encountered have an issue with getting their hands dirty. They don't want to do anything that's going to make them dirty. And so showing them that you have wipes, that you'll be able to clean them up quickly after they're done playing, might enable their mind to flow more freely. And they might get out of the therapy process more than if you didn't have those wet wipes with you. That is my Porta Pack. I hope this helps. I'm excited to try and use it during my internship this next fall. Thanks. Bye.